There's somebody I know, and she shared with me this story where she had say a conversation about even politics with her mom, and her mom was from the Boomer generation. And anytime it would be like a touch on any of these slightly more controversial subjects, then she'd say just instantly the truisms come out. Well, love is love. That's it. Conversation's over. Well, got to always be positive. Always got to look at the bright side. Got to do the silver lining. And those are just instant conversation enders. And I feel like there's a lot of these kind of no-go topics that are starting to get layered between these generations, because Gen Zers kind of have their own, like there's some things you can't be discussing with them. They have some boomer generational no-goes. And it's like starting to get impossible to track all of this. The longer your checklist, like the less you can actually say. And we have this constant issue actually with working with a lot of kind of American and Canadian, Western people in general. They feel like they can't talk about anything. They have to always be polite. They always have to be respectful. They always have to be, connected. And they have to always have to be. And now they just don't talk at all. It's really weird.
Well, they don't talk at all. And here's a concern I have. I think that a lot of this has given rise to a therapy culture. Not that therapy, working on diagnoses is bad, but a therapy culture where you go, and you're not allowed to ever be honest anywhere with anyone. Now you have one paid confidant that you go and you can only ever be honest for 1 hour a week by paying this person money. So you're on a subscription model to be honest. It's a little box you can go sit in and be honest for 1 hour a week. And I remember when I did therapy for years, they would come in and they'd say, I'd say, so how you doing this week? And they'd say, I'm great. And I'd say, okay, no, how are you really doing? They'd say, I'm terrible and I want to die. And that was, you have to ask them twice. And then that was the only place to start being honest, was inside that little box of a room. And I think that has really led to the rise of everyone thinks they need therapy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, twice, 3 times as often as possible. Everyone should go to therapy. Every man should have required mandatory therapy. I hear that a lot on social media today. And it's that right there is, if you cannot be honest anywhere in the world except by paying someone an hourly rate, there's a problem in your culture.
What do you think about that, Whitney? Because therapy is a big topic now.
Mm-hmm. When I think about like being honest and being your full self in the workplace, at least in the United States, in my experience, there's been a lot of people, like maybe women, certain in my experience, certain types of people that have never really been able to show up completely at work and say whatever they want to say. And now we're seeing like a little bit of a shift here where I think other people might be experiencing that. And we're having this pullback of like, oh my gosh, I can't say anything. But there is this cultural reckoning of like whose voices get to be heard in the workplace, who has to be sensitive to what. And I think it's difficult. Some places have taken it too far. And other places, I think we have to have those conversations about like, what does it mean to be fully honest and expressive? Does that mean that you get to say whatever you want all the time? Or are there some restrictions around that? I don't know.
Well, there's a wonderful mechanism called humor that, humanity has developed. And if you have it, then you can actually express all of these things in a non-confrontational way. And you do have to have a little bit of a background for it. You do have to have a little bit of an established relationship to use it. For example, if, I roll into the meeting at 6:30 in the morning, I'm just tired. I have this producer, and we call him Big K because he's really short. And what happens is that he goes, hey, Andre, you look like shit. And as soon as he says that, I go, oh, thanks, Big K. And like we kind of have this little banter back and forth. Like I know I don't have to perform, right? I know it's okay. I feel safe, being like, yeah, I had a crazy night. I had to stay up. I had to do this. I had to do that. I was at this meeting. And we'll kind of open this conversation up. And the tension of having to perform, having to have this positive, I'm always happy is gone. But, most of my team is actually foreign. We try to, build a team in the States. It was very difficult to find talent, and a lot of our people are from Egypt. A lot of people are from the UK. Like from everywhere, and they don't have that culture. They really don't have the culture. It makes a big difference.
If you like this clip, I know you're going to enjoy the full episode. You can watch it right here.